just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Let's get ready to rumble!
How's it, Neil? How you doing?
Hey, very well yourself, man.
Awesome, man. I like your video. Is that your studio?
Yeah.
Is that your home studio?
It is.
That looks pretty.
Yeah, it's the home studio.
It's pretty sweet, man. So I want to know,
That's cool.
talking about the
Yes.
studio. Let's just get into that. Do you have special soundproofing stuff? And I don't know. How do you? Is it just a big room with lots of instruments and stuff?
Well, you know what? At this point, I've got all the rockwool sound in the walls and the floors and the roof, and then a bit of acoustic treatments in the room. So I wouldn't say it's 100% soundproof, but it's a nice environment, and acoustically it sounds nice.
So can you, okay, so you do record in that studio. Do you do vocals in that studio as well?
Yeah, I do. I've got a vocal booth, which is in the back corner. You can't see it at the moment. So yeah, I've got a full-on soundproof vocal booth and all that jazz.
Wow,
So
man.
yeah, do all the recordings in here, all the vocals in here, everything.
Yeah, sorry for me being nosy. I just find it extremely interesting. Welcome in
No, that's
Polokwane, man. Welcome on the Flipside.
Thank you so much.
I know you guys have been
It's
in
great to be with
Polokwane.
you guys.
Yeah, you've been to Polokwane
Yes, we have.
quite a number of times, actually.
That's right, eh?
I think you
Yeah,
got.
we've been there a few times and had lots of tequila with everyone there. So it's been a good job.
When did you join Prime Circle? Because if I get it correctly, the story goes that you guys had a band and you guys were touring with Prime Circle and you guys kind of bonded.
Yeah.
And then I think shortly afterwards they told you, can you join them? They're going on or they got another gig or something, and you were like, yeah, I will join you. And then
Yeah.
they gave you a couple of days, 2 days to learn a bunch of songs, and then you had to join them.
Yeah. So I joined the band in 2007. We've released 7 albums together. So there were 2 albums before I joined. So I've done 5 albums with the guys. And yeah, it was pretty much, we were traveling together in different bands, and that's how I got to meet the guys. And then in 2007 did a show in Richards Bay to this festival of 10,000 people. And yeah, the guys were like, yeah, here's a whole bunch of songs, learn these songs. Got to sound check, set up. I was waiting to do a whole bunch of rehearsals with the guys, but that didn't really happen that way. And they were like, cool, let's just jam tonight, see what happens. So I went on stage, cold turkey, played through the sets, aced it. The guys were impressed. And yeah, after that, I just kind of joined the band.
It's insane. I've tried to learn how to play guitar for about 20 years. I can play one song that I wrote, and that's about it. That's how far it went. So when I hear people just, here's a bunch of song, learn how to play it, come gig with us in front of a lot of people, that takes some serious skill, doesn't it?
No, it does, eh? So I studied music here in Durban. And so I think that definitely helped me out with learning the tracks by ear and everything. And obviously I was a big fan of the band and loved the guys and everything. So it kind of made it a lot easier. But yeah, it was quite a challenge, especially with the rehearsals and everything, and just pitching up and just rocking the gig. And it wasn't a small gig. So the nerves were there, but yeah, luckily I kept it cool and calm, and it worked out well.
So the story goes you were on your way to go register to go study, I think, dentistry or something, and you went past the
that's right.
And you went past the music session, and you were like, okay, now this looks more entertaining, and you registered for the music department.
That's exactly it. I was gonna be a dentist, and my parents were all for me being a dentist and everything. And when I checked out the music department, they were like, oh wow, there's only one space left. So if you want it, put down your deposits and the seats is yours. So without telling my folks, I just went and put down the deposit. went home, told them like, hey, by the way, I'm not doing dentistry, I'm doing music now. And my mother was this like Italian mama, and she just squared me straight in the eyes, and she was like, whatever you do, just don't F it up. And I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
okay, I'll try my best not to.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that was that
amazing.
story.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you have a musical background before that?
Yeah, so my Italian grandfather, so I'm kind of a mix between the Breytenbach side of the family and the Italian side of the family. And he was like the opera singer. He was also a football referee, an international football ref.
Wow.
So he kind of moved to Warner Beach when I was a laddie, and we always used to go for like beach walks, and he'd always sing. And so that was kind of the introduction for me into music. But then I actually started physically playing instruments from the age of 8 onwards. Yeah.
I've always wondered if are you born a musician? Because a lot of guys that I talk to say they started playing instruments at a very young age, and many
Yeah.
times parents you got to influence from family members, but for you to physically pick up an instrument and start learning it and not giving it up at that age, because I know young children, their attention is all over the place, and to focus
Yeah.
on one thing for a long time, there must be a drive. So do you think you were just born with amazing talent to make music?
You know what? That is a difficult one, because obviously, if you really want to do something and you're willing to put in the time and effort, you can do it. It does help to be born with some sort of a talent. It just kind of fast tracks the whole process. But yeah, I think just time with your instruments and dedication and not wanting to give up, it kind of gets you there. But I mean, like even though I started young, when I went into high school, it kind of became more of a thing of playing high school rugby and cricket and sports, and the music took a bit of a back seat. And then only after school did I pick up on it again. So yeah, it's like, I think being born with the talent helps, but if you put in the effort, you'll get there.
Yeah, it's amazing. Did you were you just drawn to the piano, or was there many other instruments that you also wanted to play or can play?
Yeah, so I started out on the drums. My dad's one buddy left his drum kit at our house. So I was jamming around on the drums when I was like lighty. And from there, the guy came back and like a couple of months later picked up his drum kit, and I was like, geez, what now? And there was this old shoddy acoustic in the corner, jammed that for a bit. That thing kind of fell apart. Then I said to my folks, like, well, how's about buying me a drum kit? And they were like, no, there's a organ in the corner. Go play that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I want to play the drums. So they were like, well, go play that for a bit, and then if you like music, then you will think about it. Anyway, so I started out on the organ, and that's kind of how I got into synthesizers and all of that jazz, and then piano later on. But yeah, I literally had no choice. They were like, just go play the instrument.
Yeah.
And then from there, I got into it, and I actually enjoyed it. And then like at that stage, Depeche Mode came around when I was a teenager, and like the whole synth thing in Depeche Mode actually started making the keyboards a little bit cooler than what they were before then. So yeah, Depeche Mode got me into synths quite a lot.
Yeah, amazing band, definitely. Talking about
Yeah.
the organ, it reminds me, somebody told me the other day, Rian Krijwagen, the newsreader, you know about him. He's an organ
Yeah,
player,
yeah,
and they actually
yeah,
say they're neighbors of him, and they say Sunday nights he
yeah,
plays the organ for the whole neighborhood. I can imagine.
yeah.
And
You know what, eh? Like I mean, if you think back to the 60s and the 70s, and like the Doors, the band The Doors, they actually used a lot of organ music in their music, and so organs, the sound was actually quite huge
Mm,
back in the day with bands like The Doors and even Led Zeppelin and those kind of bands. So they kind of made it cool, I
yeah,
guess. But yeah, in the Afrikaans community, it's like with guys like Rian and stuff, it's huge.
yeah, it comes from the church. Most of the old churches.
Yeah,
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 it's just weird how the organ and the all traditional churches
yeah,
just go hand in hand. I want to,
yeah. And And even Foo Fighters, they use some organ in their songs as well.
Oh, really? I don't even really pick that
Yeah.
up. Wow.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, if you check some of their live gigs, you'll see Foo Fighters. They got a organist in the background
yeah.
as well.
So
Yeah.
you went to study music and you got a little bit of a jazz background as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people
That's
say
right.
it's very difficult to play jazz. I've been trying to get into it. I've started when I was in school. Punk music is my thing, and then I went into rock, and then I went to dance, and then I went back to rock. And I'm older now, and I realized like jazz is a genre that I haven't discovered or haven't really put the effort into listening to and trying to understand it. And I must say I'm blown away. I'm about 2 years into the journey now, and I must say I'm really, really enjoying jazz. Tell me about some of your favorite jazz musicians. Maybe give me some tips who I can check out.
Yeah. So I mean, my music course was the jazz course. So I graduated in jazz piano and songwriting and all of that. And I mean, the guys that kind of got through, like kind of mentored me through the whole process was pianists like Oscar Peterson, McCoy Tyner, guys like that. Benny Green he's a huge Canadian pianist. And those guys kind of just like brought a whole new vibe to the piano and the jazz piano. And like with all their genres, it wasn't just mainly heavy jazz. It was kind of they bridged between, say, blues and jazz. Where like Oscar Peterson was more of like a kind of blues jazz player, where a pianist like McCoy Tyner, he was like just hitting those huge jazz chords and just making them sound cool in a way. So I would definitely check out Oscar Peterson, McCoy Tyner, Benny Green, guys like that. They kind of make it sound cool. And then the later on, the cooler blues guys, which made it more modern, was, let's say, a guy like Dr. John. And he was more into his blues piano stuff, but like very, very cool. And they kind of get you liking the jazz a lot more. So very cool artists.
I'll definitely check some of them out. I'm currently stuck on Dollar Brand. I enjoy Bill Evans. And who's the other guy?
Yeah.
Thelonious Monk. He's got some very chilled out stuff.
Yeah, Thelonious Monk.
Yeah.
I played a lot of his songs. It's very cool. Quite eccentric music. But he was a huge jazz guy. He had his own style, which was very cool. Yeah,
amazing.
Thelonious Monk.
We could talk about jazz the whole night, but I want to get to your. I want to play your new single. So let's talk about that. It must be such an amazing experience to be able to record a song with your son. Is he just following in your footsteps? Did he discover music for himself as well?
Yeah. So he's kind of, I mean, going through school, he was always like a sporty kid and everything, but he also had this like grunge roots. Like he loved like Nirvana and all those kind of 3-piece bands and Alice in Chains. So it's almost like he was like kind of a old grunge soul, so to speak. So he always loved the guitar and singing and all of that. So he kind of got it in himself, where he just pursued it. And then I was like, okay, cool. He's actually not bad on the guitar. And then he started singing, and we're like, oh wow, he's digging Nirvana, he's digging Alice in Chains, like all the music I loved as well. And I'm like, cool, well, let's jam a little bit. So we jammed a little bit, and it actually sounded pretty cool. And then I was like, okay, well, let's write some songs together and see how that goes. So we wrote some songs together, and they actually came out quite sweet. And during lockdown, we just started doing more and more stuff together. So it was kind of forced us to be together in a room and see what we can do together. And the sound that we developed was actually pretty cool. So yeah, it's amazing jamming with him. It's really cool.
He's a very lucky boy. I mean, we're sitting, what we call the new generation is a fatherless generation. And I think there's something so special for a father and son to share a passion. I mean, it's amazing.
Awesome, man.
Tell me about the song.
It's very cool.
Tell me about the song. It's called Without Love.
So the song Without Love that was actually inspired by Led Zeppelin. I was doing a Led Zeppelin tribute, and the one night I came home and I just thought to myself, man, it was actually some of these songs are so cool where they they involve like almost like the blues into the rock. It's like a blues rock kind of a sound with some of their tracks. And I'm like, and some of their lyrics were actually quite raunchy. So I was like, I was driving home and I thought to myself, I'd love to write a blues rock song with like a raunchy lyric, and it must be like quite catchy. So I came home, started messing around with the piano, started writing the lyrics and the melody and everything. And within 20 minutes, that song was written from beginning to end.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, wow, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole inspiration just came from being in a Led Zeppelin tribute band at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, the song literally just fell on my lap, which was awesome.
So I got Neil Breytenbach from the band Cantrel and Prime Circle with me. Amazing song. I mean, I think many interviews we talk about the creative process and things like that, but I think a lot of guys have kind of the same process that they get a song, they start working on it, that type of thing. And we get inspired by many different things. Me and you were talking about while the song was playing about the lockdown thing. Maybe share a little bit of your wisdom that you've gained, after the lockdown. There was a time in the lockdown where everybody was freaking out, but now when things are starting to get back to normal, can you maybe share some philosophy after the lockdown, especially when it comes to bands in the music industry, something like that?
Yeah, I would say, like, I mean, like a lot of bands and businesses kind of did break up and end during lockdown. But you know what? The guys that stuck it out, the guys that didn't give up, luckily, they were maybe fortunate enough not to give up, and their situation's a little bit better. But I would say there's definitely a gap in the market where the guys that have survived or the guys that are starting out will definitely be able to bridge the gap between lockdown and now, where there's opportunities and people are hungry for music again. They're hungry for live entertainment. So I would just say, just hit it while the iron's hot. Get out there, get your music out there, get your band out there, get your business out there. People just they over the whole COVID thing. Just get your business and hit the ground running.
Yeah, it's an interesting time that we're living in because we've had generations where vinyl was the main format of music, and then CDs kind of took that over, and the CDs is falling away now, and streaming is major, and vinyl is coming back as well. What do you think the future of music is looking like? Because a lot of people says, and I went to check, a lot of people, you need to get a lot of listens to actually make money out of streaming, unless you do private shows or live shows where you sell tickets. But when it comes to putting out your music, even radio is a difficult format because so many radio stations, are they don't play the local music as much as they should and support the bands as they should. What do you think is the future of that? Do you think the streaming service is just going to carry on?
Yeah, I think the streaming will carry on, but they're definitely going to have to tweak things here and there. But unfortunately, it's going to come back to the whole thing of gigging live is going to get you your money, your merchandise that you sell at the shows. So basically the whole touring thing and merchandise thing will never go away. You just got to hit that hard and make your bucks there. As for the streaming, like you said, the finances is very minimal from it. I don't think it's going to get better unless, I mean, the hugest part of sales was CDs. And now with that whole part gone and the streaming that's literally financially hardly even viable. Yeah, I would say just get your band out there, gig, make money, sell your merchandise, just expand your brand.
I see Metallica just released, well, they got a a liquor catalog as well, but they just released some new whiskey as well, which is interesting. And then you get a band like Kiss, who is just merged out. They make more money through their merchandise than actually they did with their music. I saw they got some Crocs that they released with their branding on. It's interesting. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a Prime Circle vinyl. Did Prime Circle ever release any vinyl? Is there plans to release them?
We've never released the vinyl, but we have chatted about it. So it's definitely on the cards for us to release a vinyl sometime.
That'll be awesome. I'm a big vinyl head. I always say it, and I always like to talk vinyl. And some interesting facts for you. I don't know how big you are into vinyl, but Valiant Swat released Mystic Boer. I think he only released about 2,000 copies or something like that, and he sold it for $350 a pop. The other day, I sold my copy for 2,000 rand. There was another copy who was sold for 2,700 rand. It went collectors within a year. It was collectors. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely vinyl's cooking at the moment. So
yeah.
And the whole collectible thing is going to be huge.
Yeah, so hopefully even for Cantrel, when you guys release your album, hopefully I can get a vinyl copy as well.
Definitely.
Let's talk about gigs. There was two interesting gigs that I saw that Prime Circle also did. You guys did a gig in Zimbabwe. How did you guys get to that gig? And who in Zimbabwe got you guys to go play there?
Yeah. So we've toured Zimbabwe a couple of times over the years. And the one venue that always brings us back, or we always end up at the one venue, it's this racetrack. So like horse racetrack, almost like gravel or those kind of racetracks. And it's a venue called Barrowdale Racetrack. And the promoters there have always been different guys. But this time around, the one promoter was this black chap called Walter. And he was like a very cool guy. He loves the band, loves the vibe of the band. And he just contacted us and he was like, man, people are loving your music over here in Zim. They're dying for you guys to come back here. It's been a while. We haven't been in Zim for a couple of years now. And Walter was just like, we've got to get you guys over. And we were like, hey, well, we're keen as long as all the permits are cool and all the vaccination things are cool and everything's in line with the COVID test. We're happy to be there. And Walter kind of set this whole thing up. And then he took us over to Zim, and the show was incredible. The whole setup was incredible. And then the funny thing is, his brother lives in Namibia. So Walter's brother ended up getting us out in Namibia as well a few months later, which we've just toured Namibia now. So Walter and his brother are like kind of rocking Africa there with their musical tours, and it's very cool. It's very cool.
I love it. I never knew there was a rock scene out there, so that's pretty amazing. You guys have been all over the place. We got about 5 minutes or so left. I want to know about the royalty thing. You apparently played for royalty. Explain that. I also saw you were on a Monaco, some site, I think. I don't know. Tell me about the royalty thing.
Okay, so I've, like, with my jazz piano background, I've always played piano, lounge piano for royalty, for like princesses and kings and queens and all this jazz. So I've built up an array of contacts over the years, and then it kind of just word of mouth goes around, and people kind of refer you to other people within the royals. And then eventually Princess Charlene got hold of us and was like, do you want to come play in Monaco? And I was like, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Let's hook something up. And then I was like, okay, well, let's get the whole band over there. And we organized the whole band to go. We did a couple of gigs there, or did a couple of cool tracks over there, and it was like huge, and it was an insane show. And we met everybody, and Well, it was fantastic.
I need to commend you on your style. You're very fashionable. I mean, of most of the rockers, I must say, you're probably one of the guys with the best taste in style as well. You can pull off the rocker look. You can pull off the rapper look. So when you play these events, do you have to like wear a proper suit and tie type event?
Yeah. Yeah. So like most of the time I wear tuxedos or like a suit and tie, just depending on what they require at the time. But yeah, you gotta like dress up quite neat.
So do you
whole vibe.
Do you just play jazz, or do you put in some rock stuff in there?
No, it's just more chilled,
Background.
more jazz lounge stuff. And then if I do put up in some rock stuff, it'll be like more like, I guess, like maybe some jazzed up Billie Eilish stuff, things like that.
Okay.
Maybe even a bit of Green Day, but like more jazzy Green Day.
So it's actually quite amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is cool.
So you guys have been touring extensively all over the place. Is there one place that you would like to tour that you've never been to?
I would say probably Canada. I'd like to go check out Canada and see what the music scene doing that side. We've never been to Canada, and yeah, we know a lot of people that live there, and they're always like, "Yeah, you got to come over here, man. The music scene is awesome, and yeah, the people are cool, and yeah, so love to go check out Canada sometime."
I actually had an interview, and I think it was my first international interview with a band called Big Rick. You must kind of check them out. They're pretty amazing. And
cool.
Everybody says the Canadian people are friendly. It's true, man. These guys were like so chilled out.
Is it true?
It's amazing. And they're big friends with Nickelback. They told me they went to his house and he's got a skate park and everything. And I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can hook you up with Nickelback's agent. You guys can sort it out from there.
Hey, there we go. Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, last question, and I ask everybody, and it's always interesting to we've been talking about vinyl and albums. If there's a vinyl that you can own that you don't have, what album would that be?
I would say Nirvana, Nevermind.
Oh, awesome. The reissues is quite an issue. It's quite easy to get, but the first pressings, that's where the money lies, man. It's amazing. I'll keep an eye out.
That's where it's at, eh?
I'll keep an eye out for you, and maybe I can get you one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100. Sounds good.
Last comment. What can we look forward to with Cantrel? Do you guys have a release date for the album? You said you guys got loads of music, probably about 3 years worth of music.
Yeah.
So where are you going from here? When is the next single dropping?
So we're gonna do a couple of gigs, and then we're gonna be releasing a rock album later on in the year. So a few months from now, we're just busy putting all the odds and ends together for it. So this year we're gonna release a rock album, and then in the new year we're gonna release an acoustic album, and go from there.
Looking forward to it.
Cool stuff.
I want to say thank you very much for joining us on the Flipside. It's an honor to meet you. I've been following you guys for a long time. I love Cantrel. I love the new song, and looking forward to the new stuff coming out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Philip. Thanks for having me, man.
You remember that spelling bee you won in the first grade? Rock? R-O-K? Yeah, so what's your point? R-O-C-K!
The C is silent. You just gotta keep living, man. L-I-V-I-N.
Let's get ready to rumble! Yeah.